Fresh hostilities have broken out between Japanese whaling ships and the conservation group Sea Shepherd. The anti-whaling fleet has accused a Japanese whaling vessel of intentionally ramming its ship, the Bob Barker of Antarctica. The Sea Shepherd captain in part blames the Australian and New Zealand governments for the continued high seas confrontations.
Tempers are again firing up in the icy waters of the Southern Ocean. The crew of the Bob Barker has accused the Japanese Yushin Maru 3 of deliberately ramming their ship.
Get a picture of that. Bang. Here it comes right now.
Look at that.
They kept coming in closer and closer, and then one of them, the Yushin Maru, came in real close and then did an abrupt turn and slammed into the side of the Bob Barker, putting a 1 meter gash in the hull.
The Institute for Cetacean Research has blamed the anti-whaling vessel for the collision. It says the Bob Barker had come dangerously close to the Yushin Maru before firing lasers and projectiles at the Yushin Maru 3 and a third ship in its fleet. It's the first confrontation between the sides since the sinking of the 80 Gill last month. The Australian Greens urging the government to send an observation ship to the region immediately.
The Australian government should have a naval presence in the Antarctic, and it should be taking legal action in the international courts.
The Rudd government says 2 years ago it sent the customs vessel, the Oceanic Viking, to do just that. But it did little to deter the whalers and the protesters from their aggressive tactics. The federal opposition has accused the government of turning a blind eye to the conflict.
It's like saying you don't send the police to the riot just in case it upsets the rioters. Of course, if there is a major maritime incident in your waters and the prospect of additional incidents, it makes absolute sense to have a cop on the beat.
Sea Shepherd captain Paul Watson warns the whalers are becoming more aggressive. He says the Australian and New Zealand governments are partly to blame.
Well, they've been pretty much given a green light by Australia and New Zealand to be as aggressive as they wish, because after sinking and destroying our ship, the 80 Gill, they didn't even get a reprimand from New Zealand, even though it was a New Zealand registered vessel, and it was in the Australian Antarctic territory.
On board the Steve Irwin, he says his ship is steaming towards the scene of the collision. The prospect of further confrontations is now only increasing. Leroy Arben, World News Australia.